the spirit of that is what captured me, and I wanted to take that spirit and just, if you will, just throw it out in the community, because where I come from, right? I didn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, right? And nor the people around me were born with silver spoons in their mouth, right? And so if um, our ancestors back in the 1920s and earlier could thrive, it didn't matter that I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Over 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, and only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. You can go to our website at them4show.com, our Instagram at them4show, and our YouTube channel at Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making.
And welcome to the M4 Show.
Personally, I think the biggest lesson I've learned from them is that the biggest thing that we carry in this life is, next to our faith, is our name. So like our last name, for instance, he's created a family creed. And a few of the principles is, he said, Romanex exists to serve God by embracing our purpose and by not being afraid to put our best foot forward. Oh yeah, to put our best foot forward and to serve God by doing so. And then you I'm getting tongue tied. Give me a second. Leave the world better than we found it. So, don't just be a taker in this life. There are so many people that can take, but the more you give, the more people will give to you. So it's kind of like how he said, money and wealth is a mindset. It's kind of the same thing with our last name. The more that you pour into people, the more that you do community with other people, people are gonna pour into you. The way you carry your last name, the way you carry yourself, it speaks louder than your mouth will ever will.
Yes, sir. Way to end it strong, Julius. Shout out to the Romanek family creed. Right, y'all exist to serve God. Love the creed.
You got helping each other out back there, like y'all know. I love it. We definitely have talked about wanting to do that. So it's inspirational to see not only do you carry a lot of respect for your name, and then you have the creed. You make sure your children know the creed. Like, I could just imagine how proud you are as parents to hear them talk about being able to see you and your grind and how that's inspiring them. So that one.
Hey, I'm shocked. I'm sitting here saying, "Oh, y'all listen." Yeah. Hey, I'll just throw this out there too. Like, several of them have tried their hand, are trying their hand at entrepreneurship right now while they're in school. So Tony graduated from Southern Miss. Here, Jarius right now is at James Madison University on a full scholarship, and Julius is at Southern Miss. And so, as college students, they have some entrepreneur endeavors going as we speak.
Love it. Congrats. Come on. The whole family's grinding. Whole family. Love to see it. So I wanna start getting into the meat of today, right? And talking about the legacy of Tulsa's Black Wall Street as y'all see it in your eyes, and why y'all felt so moved by this history to name your biggest to date that I know of. Man, y'all can let me know if there's other projects. Project Greenwood Plaza, right? The Linked Up Empowerment Center. Talk to us about how you all learned about Tulsa Black Wall Street and what inspired you to name your new construction after Greenwood. Look, we're gonna get right back into the amazing podcast. But if you didn't know, in 2017, we created Black Wall Street, the board game, because we thought more families needed to know about the history of Tulsa Black Wall Street. More families needed to know about the legacy of Black excellence left behind of Tulsa Black Wall Street, that we can own a Madam C.J. Walker Beauty Salon. We can have a Booker T. Washington High School. We can have an Uncle Steve's Barbecue. We can have a Renaissance man like Simon Berry, who had his own taxi service and bus service that got bought out by the city of Tulsa. We have brilliance in our DNA. We wanted to make sure that your family can play a game that teaches them about this brilliance. So we have Black Wall Street, the board game, right here. We had the first edition available in 2017 that got sold out. We're on the second edition right now, or you can get the beautiful masterpiece version of the game as well. It's up to you. Head to playblackwallstreet.com and get yourself Black Wall Street, the board game, to empower you, your family, and generations to come. Playblackwallstreet.com. Let's get back to the episode.
Man, so just being a reader, I came across Tulsa, Oklahoma, and there were other communities like that, in the United States as well, thriving Black communities. As a response to segregation, Blacks were relegated to a certain part of the community, and those Blacks with ingenuity decided that they weren't just going to die, they were going to thrive. And they decided to go into business. During the time of segregation, during the time of Jim Crow, during the time that the government foot was on the Black man's neck at the time, but these people still thrive, right, underneath the worst conditions. And so that was inspirational to me, that if God would bless our ancestors during that time to overcome all of those barriers, not only to just survive, but to thrive, how much more could we do today when things are not so hard pressed as they were back then? And so the spirit of that is what captured me. And I wanted to take that spirit and just, if you will, just throw it out in the community. Because where I come from, right, I didn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, right? And nor the people around me were born with silver spoons in their mouth, right? And so if our ancestors back in the 1920s and earlier could thrive, it didn't matter that I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. And all the excuses and all of the barriers that I was facing really didn't matter, because they were under worse conditions than I was, and they still thrive. So we face redlining, right, where banks refuse to give loans to African Americans who lived in a certain side of the community, right? We experience banks charging us higher interest rates than our white counterparts. We experienced banks telling us no, even though we were still qualified. We experienced our houses being underappraised when they found out that that Blacks lived in the neighborhood. That neighborhoods are decreased by 50% when it becomes 50% African American occupied. All things being equal, the only difference, the properties are valued at what they're valued at, but the fact that African American family living there, and this is not my opinion. These are stats. These are facts, right? And so even with all of those things in our face, our ancestors had it worse than that, and they still thrive. So that's why I wanted to reach back and pull that into the future, into the present, and say they did it, so can you. And it really doesn't matter that much, the barrier that you're facing, because they did it under worse conditions. So that's the sense of pride. That's the sense of personal responsibility. That's the sense of the essence that this Greenwood Plaza embodies. That's why the name. That's where the inspiration came from.
Ashe. And I don't know if you probably read this in your history as well, but the name even Greenwood, this is for our listeners, originally came from Mississippi.
Greenwood, Mississippi. Absolutely.
All right, so it's
there.
all right. One more time, Queen Liz.
I said I have roots there. I have family who actually live
Wow. So I love how it's literally full circle. How Greenwood, Mississippi was able to inspire Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and that issue was able to inspire it coming back to its home place. Love it. So can y'all talk through and tell people about Greenwood Plaza? What is the vision for it? What's going to be there? And then we definitely want to learn, steps on how this project can get duplicated and replicated in other places, right? People are in Arkansas are thinking of how can we build a Greenwood Plaza? People in LA are thinking, how can we build a Greenwood Plaza? What are some of those tangible steps? But first, if you can educate us on Greenwood Plaza, what's the dream? What's the vision? Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them, all of them, wherever you're listening, go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.